When you think of Hartford, you might think the buttoned up and down to earth. So this flies in the face of that image.
This is downtown Hartford, Connecticut, 750 Main Street.
We are producing the drones, manufacturing the drones right here in Hartford.
Assembly required downtown. Lots of it. This is the new home of Aqualine Drones, where they're essentially doubling down on the quadcopters. Barry Alexander is the CEO.
These are commercial grade drones. We manufacture drones right here in downtown Hartford, Connecticut, aspiring to make Connecticut the drone capital of the U.S. So against the backdrop of the pandemic, we've been able to foster growth through workforce development in the area of drone production.
There are 25 employees now working to put the intricate pieces together, helping to launch the drone initiative. And another 24 workers to come.
No, that looks good.
With price points from $5,000 to $50,000 per unit, drone tech Gina Oliveira says, appropriately, their ceiling is high.
So I think society is definitely open to bringing in the drones and seeing the drones flying around because it's going to happen very soon.
Backed by our Connecticut senators, there is a push to make sure drones are made domestically. And they're happy to house the production here.
Hopefully with a little bit of political will and support from the local community, we can thrive as a drone manufacturer and provider of cloud services specific to drone operations.
It's a revolution. It's just something that's coming up, and we're just at the beginning of it. And not only is it made in the USA, it's made here in Hartford. So it's going to put us on the map, which is really exciting.
There are plans for when the pandemic ends that Aqualine will open their own showroom on the first floor of the building here in downtown Hartford so people can see the assembly and check out the drones for themselves. In downtown Hartford, Jim Altman, Fox 61 News.